Welcome back to Phoenix English classes. Once again we are going to continue with the same story, The Enemy, prescribed in CBSE board class 12th English code. The book is Vistas. This is the 8th video of the series. Up to now we have come to know about the enemy soldier who has come back to his consciousness. His wound is healing. Sadao and his wife Hana, they are looking after him. But there is another problem that has been cropped up in the family. All the servants of the family have decided that they are not going to serve this couple because they are traitors and they are serving an American enemy soldier only because they had been in America and they have lost their faith in their own country. They are the friends of Americans. Now we will see what happens with the couple and with that enemy soldier. See the text. Neither seemed able to say more, and somehow the household dragged on. The servants grew daily more watchful. Their courtesy was as careful as ever, but their eyes were cold upon the pair to whom they were hired. Up to now, no servant seemed to be saying anything, and somehow the household works were going on up to now. But the servants were keeping an eye on the masters, what they are doing, how they are tending the man, how thoughtless they are. They do not think about their own country, they think about their patient who is an American. Although they did not say anything uncourteous, their courtesy was there, but it was cold courtesy, and their eyes were also cold upon them, upon Dr. Sadao and Hana. It is clear what our masters ought to do, the old gardener said one morning, but now it's too much. The servants were silent up to now, but now it was too much for them. And the old gardener started speaking first. He said, our masters should know what they should do, what they should not do. He had worked with flowers all his life and had been a specialist too in moss. For Sadao's father, he had made one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf of pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. This old gardener was there in the house from the time of Sadao's father. He was an expert of gardening. He took great care of the flowers, and he was an expert of moss also. At the request of Sadao's father, he made a moss garden for him, and he took great care of it that even a leaf should not be dropped there on the moss, otherwise it will spoil the spikes of the moss. And he was the oldest servant in the house. He was an expert also. My old master's son knows very well what he ought to do, he now said. Pinching a bud from a bush, he spoke. When the man was so near death, why did he not let him bleed? Now he was giving his opinion. At that time, he was cutting the plants of flowers and plucking a bud from there. Perhaps it was a rotten bud. Plucking a bud from there, he said, it's not that our master does not know what he should do, what he should not do. Yet I cannot understand why doesn't he do the rightful thing. I'm really unable to understand why he is trying to save an enemy soldier. if he had found him there at the sea beach and he was bleeding profusely, he would have let him die. If he would not have carried him home, he would have died there because he was already bleeding. This was the thought, this was the idea of the gardener. But I cannot understand why he did not let him bleed. That young master is so proud of his skill to save life that he saves any life, the cook said contemptuously. At this, the cook also agreed and he said that you are right. Our master has become mad in his profession. He is so proud of his profession, he is so proud of his mastery in his profession that he is saving any kind of life if he can. And he forgets that what he should do, what he should not do. She split a fowl's neck skillfully and held the fluttering bird and let its blood flow into the roots of wisteria vine. And saying this, the cook, she was a lady, she cut the neck of a fowl and carefully hanged it over a flower plant so that all the blood should drip down in the at the root in the soil, and she did not let even one drop of blood waste away. The blood is watering the tree. It's a kind of fertilizer that was being given. Blood is the best of fertilizers, and the old gardener would not let her waste a drop of it. They were so expert in the trade that the cook knew the blood that would come out from the bird would be used as fertilizer in the wisteria vine. And it was the idea of the gardener that blood should not be wasted because it is a very good fertilizer for the flowers. It is the children of whom we must think, Yumi said sadly. What will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor? Yumi also gave her opinion. She said, we have to think about the children, the two children of the masters. They should also think about their children. If they are found helping an enemy soldier, they would be charged and condemned of being a traitor. They cannot escape it. And in such a condition, if they are condemned to be the traitors, what would be the future of these two infants, these two little children? They should think about the future of them. They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as she stood arranging the day's flowers in the veranda nearby, and she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear. When they were talking all these things, Hannah was not far away from them. She could easily hear what conversation was going on there among these serpents. And she knew that they knowingly spoke it so loud that she could hear. The condition was so bad in the house that the servants are not whispering. They are speaking aloud so that the masters should hear us, should listen to us, because they have done something wrong. Hannah could understand it easily because she was standing there in the veranda. She had come to pick flowers. That they were right, she knew too in most of her being. But there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. Hannah heard all these things, but she made no reaction. Hannah herself knew that what they had said was true. was correct. Yet she did not say anything, because it was, although correct, yet it was not the only thing that was correct. There was something more that they did not know, and perhaps she also did not know. But what was that another part? She herself cannot understand. She could not understand, and she did not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday when he had said in his impulsive way, "Anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom." But this another thing should not be thought of in a wrong way, in a wrong direction, that she had a kind of liking for the man because he was American. That was wrong. He was a war prisoner, he was a fugitive when she saw him first, and she had a kind of derision for him, and still he is a prisoner for Hannah, and she did not like him even yesterday when impulsively the man tried to become a bit intimate with the patron, and without asking he told Hannah his name, that he was Tom. She had only bowed her little distant bow. When he told her the name, she only bowed from distance. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. She showed the courtesy, giving him a distant bow. At this, she could clearly see that there was the feeling of being hurt in the eyes of the man, yet she did not want to appease him, because she knew that this man is only a problem in our house. As for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the young man would in a fortnight be nearly as well as ever. Sadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. If we look at Sadao, we find that every day he was examining the wounds carefully. He pulled the last stitches also. The man was almost all right, all the wounds were healed up, and he pulled all the stitches this morning, and the young man would soon be full of vigor and strength in almost 15 days of time, in a fortnight, as he had ever been. Sadao went back to his office, knowing this, that in 15 days he will be all right, he will gain his strength. He went to his office, he sat there, wrote a letter to the police commissioner, police chief, and in that letter he explained everything to him, what has happened, how this man had come, how did we tend him, how did we treat him. Now he is all right, and you may take him away and do whatsoever you want. All the things, all the details, all the parts and parcels of everything was furnished in the letter. He wrote everything on the matter. On the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. So far he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. Although he had decided that he will furnish all the details and complete the letter, but when he started typing, he typed only that much. On 21st day of February, on 21st of February, an escaped prisoner washed ashore just in front of our house, and we carried him here and we treated him. And after that he thought something and opened a secret drawer in his table and put it safely there and closed it. He thought that he would finish the report after some time. On the 7th day after that, two things happened. On the day when he wrote the letter, after that 7 days were passed, then another incident took place. In the morning, the servants left together, and the incident was quite alarming. All the servants decided that we cannot serve these traitors, and they decided to leave the house. Their belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. They have bundled up everything that they had, all the belongings, and they tied it up in cotton cloths, square cloths, and they were ready to go from the house. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done, the house not clean and the food not prepared, and she knew what it meant. On that very morning, when Hannah rose up, she found everything was at sixes and sevens. The house was not cleaned, it was not broomed, it was not dusted. She went to the kitchen and she found that there was no work done, there was no breakfast ready. It means no one had entered the kitchen. She was fully aware of the fact why it has been done. She was dismayed and even terrified, but her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully, and when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all they had done for her. Although she was terrified, although she was afraid what was going on, and she had to do all the household work, and there was a fear also that some of the servants would go to the police and inform everything and report everything, and we will be in a tight corner, we will be prosecuted. Such things may happen. These things were terrifying her, yet as a mistress she was trying herself calm, and she was fully composed. When the servants came, she was standing in the kitchen. She met with them with no expression on her face, with no sign of fear or any kind of repentance was not there on the face of Hannah, and she faced them like a mistress. She said that she was very thankful to them that they had been with them for so long and they had served them in the best possible manner, and she paid them off also. She gave the salary to all the servants. They were crying, but she did not cry. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yumi cried because of the children. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hannah. All the servants were very sad. They were crying. They were showing that we don't want to go, but you have left no other way for us. They were trying to make her realize that you are the guilty cause. Yet Hannah was calm and composed. She did not cry. She dealt with the situation very peacefully, very gracefully, like a mistress of the house should. Yumi was crying. Other servants were crying. Other servants were crying because two of them were too old. They were serving the house from the time of Sadao's father, and they had seen boy Sadao being brought up in the house. That's why they were very sad. Yumi was very sad because of the children, because she was the nurse of Hannah's two children, and she was so sad that once she had gone, she ran back to Hannah once again. If the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me. I am going to my own house and you know where it is. Thank you, Hannah said smiling. But she told herself she would not send for Yumi, however the baby cried. When she came back, Yumi was crying when she was going because she was very much attached with the children. She once again ran back to Hannah and she said, if the small baby misses me too much because that baby is always in my lap and he is used to being with me. If he cries, if he weeps at night and misses me, I'm going to my own house and you know where my house is. Please send for me. I will come. Hannah smiled and said thank you. But in her mind she was thinking that whatever may happen, whatever may be the situation with the children, or how much they can weep, they may weep, yet I will not call you back. She had taken a decision. She made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Because the servants had gone, Hannah had to prepare the breakfast, and Sadao had to help her out. If not in the kitchen, then he had to help her out with the children. He was helping out with the children. But they did not talk anything about the servants. The fact was evident that they have already left and all the household work must be done by the couple. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, when she came back, she came to Sadao and she started speaking. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? She asked him. Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? She asks a question to Sadao. She says, I cannot understand clearly what we are doing and why we are doing all these things. When the things are so clear, what we should do, what we ought to do, what is our moral obligation, we know it very well. Even the servants know what they should do in such a situation. Why we are not agreed with the same thing, which is also right? Why we are different from other Japanese people? How we are different, and what we are doing, if it is correct? Sadao did not answer. But a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said briskly, today you might get up on your feet. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. Sadao did not make any reply. A little later he also entered the room of the prisoner and he said to that prisoner in a tough voice. A bit of harshness is there, a bit of strictness is there in the voice of Sadao. At that time he said that today you are allowed to get up by yourself, you can stand on your feet, and you can walk a bit also, but you are allowed to do it only for 5 minutes, not more than that. Tomorrow you will try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible. Today you are allowed it to do only once for 5 minutes. Tomorrow it will be doubled. You can do it twice, and I hope you will get strength very soon, and I want it that you should get your vigor, your strength as soon as it is possible. He saw the flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. Okay, the boy murmured. Evidently he was determined to say more. I feel I ought to thank you, doctor, for having saved my life. When he said all these things to the boy was terrified, and the terror was seen in his eyes, and his face became yellow. But the boy murmured, okay, what you have said, I understood and I will do it. Evidently, he was determined to say more. This time he was not going to stop himself as it was instructed by the doctor. He said, but I feel that I should say thank you to you, doctor, for everything that you have done to me to save my life. Don't thank me too early, Sadao said coldly. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes. Terror as unmistakable as an animal's. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Those scars, what were they? Sadao did not ask. When he said, I must thank you, Sadao said, no, it's too early to say me thank you. There is a hidden thing in this line, in this sentence. Don't say thank you until you know what I am going to do with you. It's too early to say thank you. If you really think that your life is saved, then you should say thank you. Then you should be thankful to me. But up to now, you don't know what I am going to do with you. As soon as he said that it is too early to say thank you to me, a flicker of terror was there on the face of the boy, and Sadao noticed that it was the terror that one can see in the eyes of an animal that was going to be butchered. He felt like that. And this terror was so stark that the scar that was there on the neck, just below the ear, which was seen at the time of operation by Hana, that scar became crimson red. On seeing the hue, the color of the scars, Sadao wanted to ask him, what is this? But he did not ask. तो अभी तक हमने पढ़ा कि हाना और सदाओ ये दोनों पूरी तरह से कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि किसी भी तरह से इस व्यक्ति को जितनी जल्दी हो सके अच्छा किया जाए। हालांकि घर में दूसरी भी समस्याएं खड़ी होनी शुरू हो गई थी। नौकर काम तो कर रहे थे, लेकिन अब वो सम्मान उनकी आंखों में नहीं था मालिकों के लिए जो अभी तक हुआ करता था। अब कोल्ड कट से उनकी आंखों में नजर आती थी। अब कानाफूसियां नहीं करते थे नौकर। अभी तक तो कानाफूसी से काम चल रहा था, क्यों इसको बैठा रखा है घर में, दुश्मन को क्यों पाल रहे हैं। लेकिन अब बात इस हद पे आ गई थी कि खुलेआम कहने लगे थे ये नौकर। ऐसा ही एक इंसिडेंट हुआ। गार्डन के अंदर जो बूढ़ा माली था उसने कहा, समझ में नहीं आता मालिक ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं, जबकि उन्हें जानना चाहिए कि उन्हें क्या करना चाहिए। उन्हें अपने बच्चों के बारे में सोचना चाहिए। कुक ने भी कहा, हाँ सही बात है, बच्चों के बारे में सोचना चाहिए। अगर किसी को पता चल गया तो इनके ऊपर तो देशद्रोह का आरोप लग जाएगा। बच्चों का जीवन क्या होगा। बच्चों की तो अभी अवस्था भी बहुत कम है। यूमी ने भी कहा, हाँ में हाँ मिलाई, सुर में सुर मिलाया। और जब ये सब बातें हो रही थी, हाँ ना वहीं से थोड़ी दूर पर खड़ी हुई थी, वो फूल चुनने आई हुई थी। वो भी सुन रही थी और वो जान रही थी कि मुझे सुनाने के लिए ही ये लोग कह रहे हैं। लेकिन हाना ने अपना धैर्य नहीं खोया। वो चुप रही, क्योंकि उसे भी पता था कि ये नौकर जो कह रहे हैं वो बहुत हद तक ठीक है। लेकिन एक दूसरी भी चीज़ थी जिसे ये नहीं समझ रहे हैं। लेकिन वो दूसरी चीज़ वह नहीं थी जिसे ये समझा जाए कि उस अमेरिकन के लिए कोई दया का भाव था या अमेरिकन के लिए कोई सहानुभूति। ऐसा नहीं था। वो दूसरी कौन सी चीज़ थी वो खुद भी नहीं समझ पा रही थी, क्योंकि वो कैदी को पसंद नहीं करती थी। और अभी कल तक जबकि उस कैदी ने उसे अपना नाम बताया कि मेरा नाम टॉम है, तब भी वो उसे नहीं पसंद करती थी। तब भी उसने एक मॉडेस्टी दिखाई और झुक के अभिवादन किया और बिल्कुल कोल्ड निगाहों से उसकी तरफ देखा, जिससे वो सैनिक आहत भी हुआ थोड़ा। लेकिन उसकी कोई परवाह हाना नहीं की, क्योंकि हाना जानती थी कि ये एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है हमारे घर के लिए। सदाओ एक ही काम कर रहा था। सदाओ लगातार एक ही काम कर रहा था। वो घाव का निरीक्षण करता था। आखिरी टाँका भी आज ही सुबह उसने निकाला था। वो जान गया कि 15 दिन के अंदर ये बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएगा। और फिर वो एक डिसीजन लेता है। वो जाता है अपने ऑफिस में, बैठ के एक लेटर टाइप करता है जिसमें पुलिस अधिकारी को उसने एड्रेस करते हुए लिखा कि क्या क्या हुआ था, कैसे वो भागा हुआ सिपाही उसे मिला, कैसे उसने उसे बचाया और अब वो उसके घर में। ये सारी चीज़ें उसने लिखी। हालांकि आधी ही रिपोर्ट उसने लिखी, उसके बाद कुछ सोचा और उसने एक गुप्त दराज थी मेज के अंदर, उसमें डाल दिया। खैर वो एपिसोड ख़त्म हो गया। इसके 7वें दिन दो बातें हुई एक साथ। पहली चीज़ तो ये कि घर के सारे नौकर सुबह सुबह ही अपने साजो सामान को बांध के अपने अपने घर जाने को तैयार हो गए। दूसरी बात ये थी कि जब हाना सो के उठी तो देखती है ना घर साफ़ है, ना किचन साफ़ है, ना किचन में कुछ नाश्ता बनाया गया। जान गई कि इसका मतलब क्या था। दुखी थी, डरी हुई थी, लेकिन एक मालकिन थी, उसके अंदर एक प्राइड था, उस गर्व को संभालती थी और उसने अपने उस गर्व को मेंटेन रखा। उसने बड़े गरिमामयी तरीके से उन सभी को, जब वो रसोई घर में थी उसी समय सब आए विदा मांगने के लिए, उसने सभी को विदा किया, सबको पैसा दे दिया, सभी को तनख्वाह दे दी, सभी का धन्यवाद किया। सारे लोग जाते हुए रो रहे थे क्योंकि पुराने नौकर थे। दो तो उसमें से सदाओं के बचपन से वहाँ काम करते थे, सदाओं को गोद में उन्होंने खिलाया था। और यूमी तो खासकर इसलिए रो रही थी क्योंकि उनके पास वो बच्चे रहते थे, बच्चों के साथ उसका सारा समय बीतता था, बच्चों से प्रेम था उसको। और वो तो इतना रो रही थी, इतना दुखी थी कि वो जाने के बाद फिर एक बार दौड़ के लौट के आई हाना के पास और हाना से उसने कहा कि अगर बच्चा मुझे ज़्यादा मिस करे आज की रात तो मुझे बुला लीजिएगा, मेरा घर आप जानती हैं, मैं अपने घर पे ही रहूँगी। हाना ने उसे मुस्कुराते हुए धन्यवाद दिया और धन्यवाद देने के बाद उसे विदा कर दिया और मन में सोचा बच्चा चाहे जितना रोए तुमको तो नहीं बुलाएंगे किसी कीमत पर। खैर उसने ब्रेकफास्ट बनाया, सदाओं ने भी मदद की, बच्चों को उस समय संभाले रखा। दोनों में से कोई भी नहीं बोला, लेकिन जब वो नाश्ता उस सैनिक को देकर आई तो उसने अपनी बात फिर से सदाओं के सामने रखी और उसने कहा आखिर हम स्पष्ट रूप में क्यों नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए, तब जबकि एक एक नौकर को पता है कि ऐसे समय में कौन सा आचरण हमें करना चाहिए, हमें क्यों नहीं पता है, हम बाकी जापानियों से अलग क्यों हैं। इसका भी कोई जवाब सदाओं ने नहीं दिया। सदाओं ने किसी भी तरह की कोई टिप्पणी नहीं की। थोड़ी देर के बाद वो उस कैदी के कमरे में गया और उससे थोड़ी सख्त अंदाज में बोला। उसने कहा आज तुम अपने पैरों पे खड़े हो सकते हो, 5 मिनट के लिए तुमको इजाज़त है चलने फिरने की, आज इतना ही, लेकिन कल यही प्रक्रिया 2 बार होगी और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है और मैं चाहता भी हूँ कि जल्दी से जल्दी तुम अपनी ये पूरी स्ट्रेंथ को प्राप्त कर लो और जल्दी से ठीक हो जाओ। वो सिपाही थोड़ा आतंकित हुआ, उसके चेहरे पर पीलापन आया। उसने कहा ठीक है, ओके। हालांकि वो कुछ और कहना चाहता था, लेकिन उसने वो जानता था कि सदाओं से बोलने नहीं देगा, फिर भी आज उसने थोड़ी ढिठाई की और उसने कहा मैं ये ज़रूर कहना चाहूँगा कि आपने जो कुछ भी मेरे लिए किया, मेरा जीवन बचाने के लिए, उसके लिए आपका धन्यवाद। सदाओं ने कहा धन्यवाद कहने में थोड़ी जल्दबाजी कर रहे हो। अब ये बात सुनते तो उसके तोते उड़ गए फिर से, यानी अभी इन्होंने बचाया नहीं है, अभी तो मुझे फंसा सकते हैं। चेहरे पर आतंकित भाव आ गए, चेहरा एकदम पीला पड़ गया और कान के नीचे वो जो कटा हुआ निशान था, स्कार था, वो एकदम से क्रिम्सन लाल हो गया। उस खरोच को देखने पर सदाओं के दिमाग में आया ये खरोच कैसी है, कैसे लगी, पूछना चाहता था लेकिन उसने कुछ पूछा नहीं। तो we will stop here and in the next episode we will continue the story from the same point. I hope you are understanding it well. The story is a bit long, but I think it will be completed in next 2 videos or maximum 3 videos. Keep being with us, keep studying. We will continue with the same story in the next video also, and till then keep revising the videos. Open the description, read what is written there. The glossary of difficult words is given there. Keep preparing notes, keep liking, keep subscribing and keep commenting. Goodbye.